Hey YouTube, this is Helsinki Rocks AGF with a new video series. In the past I've done like my top 10 favorite games of all time or my top 15 favorite games of all time. This video is kind of going to be similar to those, but its own thing, because I just decided to grab some games off my shelf. I like looking at my shelf, and then going like alphabetically and picking out 10 games. Each video will probably have 10 games until I run out of the ones that I want to talk about. And I'm just going to talk about some of my absolute favorite games. So I'm going to start off here with a stack of PS3 games. Most of these are multi-plat. I actually think, all of these are multi-plat except for one for the PS3. First up is Blur. Blur is by Bizarre Creations, the people who I believe did Fur Fighters, I think was Bizarre Creations. And Bizarre Creations also did the Project Gotham Racing series on the Xbox and Xbox 360. Blur was their last hurrah. It was the last game that they developed. It's a good mix of Project Gotham Racing and Mario Kart. You play with these really realistic cars and really realistic tracks, but you have weapons and power-ups, kind of like Twisted Metal, but not so free-roaming. It's actually racing. You're actually like doing laps and everything. So it's a really fun game, really underrated, and it's really sad that Bizarre Creations went under after Activision acquired them and didn't think this game did well enough. If you can find it, it's a really fun game. This next game, I could talk about the one before it, but just know that basically what I'm saying to this game applies to the predecessor. In our case, this is Fallout New Vegas, so everything I'm going to say does apply to Fallout 3. These games are awesome. Fallout 3 was the very first Western-style RPG I'd ever really played. And I fell in love with it, but New Vegas takes everything that Fallout 3 did and perfects it to its ultimate glory. Sure, the game's a little buggy, as most of Bethesda's games are, but oh my god, it's so much fun. I can't not get over how much fun these games are. I put probably over 1,000 hours into this with all my different characters, all the DLC. Really worthwhile game. You can get a lot of time into it, and it's really fun. Lots of different branching story paths. This next up is a newer game that I was really surprised about. I paid $5 for it at a flea market, and that's what made me decide to buy it. And that's Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption. I heard a lot of people talk about it, but it never really seemed like a game for me because I tried GTA 4. I didn't really care for GTA 4, but so I found this for $5, and I was like, you know what? For $5, I'll give it a shot. So I started playing it, and I became addicted to this game. I've beaten it. I've got some of the DLC, mostly just the single-player DLC. I'm working on Undead Nightmare. I haven't played it in a while, but a really good game with a really good story. I'm an American history student. I love American history. So this, was interesting for me from that regard. Really fun game, though. This time I didn't grab the sequel. I grabbed the first game in a series. But what I'm saying for the most part applies to the sequel. I'll probably make a video going more detailed about them later. And this is Sonic and Sega AllStars Racing. This was actually the first game I got when I got my PS3. I had no idea that they had a kart racer by Sega, and I went with my graduation money from high school and I bought a PS3. And this was the first game I bought because I had $300, and I think my PS3 was $260, so I couldn't really afford a ton of games. So I just got one really good game. And I love this game. It is, so far, to me, the perfect kart racer. I've been playing the sequel a lot, but I'll save that and wait for it. But if you like Mario Kart, you definitely have to try Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. The first one is on the DS, it's on the Wii, it's on the 360, and it's on the PS3. Most of them have exclusive characters except for the PS3 version, but there's some great DLC on here, too. There's only 2 pieces, so it's worth it. One's Metal Sonic and a track, and the other is Ryo Hazuki and his forklift. The next one is Sonic Generations. Funny story about this one. As you know, if you pre-order a game at a GameStop, they don't transfer your pre-order to another store. Well, I had actually pre-ordered this game when I lived in a town about a little over an hour away, and I had to move from there rather unexpectedly. But I'd paid full credit for the game in store credit, so they couldn't refund me money because there was no money. So on launch day, I got up at they opened at 9, so I got up probably around 7, drove up there and waited out in front of the store for 30 minutes just to get this. only to find out... No. That's another story, sorry. But yeah, I did go up there about 30 minutes early and waited. And it's worth it. I love this game to death. Very beautiful game. The 2D gameplay is really great, and so is the 3D. The soundtrack's awesome. It says it supports add-on content, and I know there was a pre-order level. As far as I know, that's not been released. If it has been released and someone knows, let me know, because I'd really want to get that. The last PS3 game here is actually the first game I played in this series, and it's still my favorite. It's also the newest. Yakuza 4. As you guys know, I'm a gigantic Yakuza fan. I picked this up last year about a week and a half before Black Friday, so it's only been a little over a year that I've had this game. I found it for $10 at Kmart, and I was like, you know what? Why not? It looks like I've heard it's a lot of fun. I love it. I went back and then I bought 1, which I played 1, and then I bought 3, and then I played 3, and then I got 2. So I played them in a really fucked up order, but a great game, Yakuza. Definitely a worthy spiritual successor to Shenmue. The next ones are Wii games. One's kind of Wii exclusive, and I'll tell you what I mean in a second. And that's the first game right here, GoldenEye 007. I've talked about this game a lot. Really fun single-player campaign, really fun multiplayer. The online's good. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed GoldenEye on the N64, to be completely honest with you. This, like I said, this is kind of a Wii exclusive because there's GoldenEye 007 Reloaded on the PS3 and 360, which isn't quite the same game. It's mostly the same game, but there's some reworked areas, some stuff added, some stuff taken away. So for all intents and purposes, I'd like to just call it a separate game, because there's too many. They're not exactly the same. There's too much differences between them to call it the same game. Really great game. You can get this for probably $17 now. It's really good. Really worth your time. Sonic Colors is another pre-order story for you. When you pre-ordered Sonic Colors, you got the Sonic hat. And I pre-ordered this game like 6 months before it came out. Like the first day they took pre-orders for it, I pre-ordered it. And at that time, I was still in high school, and I was still living with my mom. So during that process of pre-ordering it, I moved to that place that was a little over an hour away. And the game came out the day after I moved in, so I didn't have any money to get gas because I just spent all my time moving. So my mom offered to go pick it up for me and bring it to me, and I told her, I said, make sure that you get a hat. I'm supposed to get a hat because I pre-ordered this, so make sure you get the hat. And my mom went in there when they opened and asked the lady behind the counter. You know, she picked it up for me, and my mom said, you know, isn't there supposed to be a hat with this because he pre-ordered it? And the lady was like, yeah, but we haven't opened the boxes yet. You'll have to come back later for it. And, you know, the lady was being real hateful with her and whatnot. And, you know, you don't know my mom, but she's not someone you really want to get on her bad side. So she got the hat, and she brought it to me, and I played this like the first week and a half, 2 weeks that I was moved into my first home on my own with my fiance. So that was really fun. The last two here are PS2. Both are... One's got a port on another system, but it's on the same console family. First up is Devil May Cry 3. This is the special edition. I did have the original edition back in the day, but when I found out they were releasing a version with Virgil as a playable character, I sold it when the going was still good, and I got Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, never looked back. I love Devil May Cry, one of my favorite franchises of all time. Right up there, probably 3 or so. Fucking love this one. Virgil's awesome, great story. I mentioned it had an HD port on PS3 and 360. I want to get that sometime. It's still relatively more than I'm willing to pay for it. I wanted to get it when it's like $20. Right now it's still hanging around 25, and I'd like to get it when it's 20. But amazing game if you like hack and slash action adventure games, similar to God of War, but I think Devil May Cry has a much better story. You can get that. And last up here is another Rockstar game. That's Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I got this when I got my PS2 in launch, probably Christmas 2002, maybe Christmas 2003. I don't remember exactly. But Vice City is by far and away my favorite Grand Theft Auto. I played 3. It was good. I got pretty far into it. I could never beat it, though. San Andreas was alright. I was kind of disappointed with San Andreas, but still had a lot of fun with it. Vice City is perfect. Coming from someone who doesn't like the 80s, I don't like 80s music, I don't like 80s style, I don't like 80s television. I don't like 80s anything, really. And for me to say that I love this game, and I love the setting, and I love everything about Vice City is awesome. I'd never seen Scarface before, so that wasn't it. The only thing I had related to this game when I got it was that I'd seen Ray Liotta, the guy who voices Tommy in the game, in Goodfellas, and that was it. And I didn't even know that at the time. I figured that out while I was playing it. But I think this is the best Grand Theft Auto game by far. So guys, that was 10 of my favorite games. In a couple days, I'll probably put out 10 more of my favorite games. It'll probably be all focused probably on the PS2 and GameCube, judging by the way this video went, how it's mostly PS3 games here. But I'm going to keep doing these. I figured it'll be a good way for me to talk about some games without needing an arbitrary reason to talk about them. Like, you know, I could do a 10 favorite games of all time, my favorite racing games, but I just want to talk about my favorite games. What's a better way to do it than just pick out a stack of them and talk about them? Alright guys, thanks for watching.